Greetings, strangers. I didn't mean to sing it, but it came out sing-songy, so that's what you get. I'm B to the R to the I to the T.
You
B
done?
for for romance. I for intriguing, and T for tremendous. I don't know. I'm Brit. I'm there.
And I'm just D.
And
There you go.
there you go. And welcome to another episode of It's a Strange World After All. The podcast where we discuss true crime cases, the supernatural, urban legends, conspiracy theories, occasional movie reviews, and all the things that keep the world strange. Man, I feel like a woman. Happy Women's History Month. Anniversary month. Still,
Okay.
yes, all month long.
In today's episode, we discuss the Highway 50 Phantom.
Mic
That
drop. Mic drop, beautiful. Yes, the Highway 50 Phantom. Yes. How did you hear about this? I never heard about this.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is an unsolved mystery. Okay. I need to go back and watch Unsolved, like the classics. The
Also that,
classic
and
Unsolved.
then yeah, you do need to watch. The older Unsolved Mystery. Wait, yeah, this was the older ones, not the ones on Netflix.
Yeah. The classics. The
Um,
classic.
yeah. And it was also featured on Paranormal Witness. Let me see. Because that's another show that I watch.
Oh.
Yeah, Paranormal Witness.
What does that come on? Or what is that on?
It used to come on, it's not on anymore, but it used to come on Sci-Fi.
Okay. I have not watched that in forever. That's why. Okay. Well, yes, we will get into it. So many questions. It is an unsolved mystery, but there is some paranormal involved. And did a ghost save a child? We don't know. Stay tuned. On June 6, 1994, 23-year-old Christine Skubish and her 3-year-old son, Nick, were driving along Highway 50 in the Sierra Nevada mountain range in California when they vanished without a trace.
Christene left her family's home near Sacramento on June 5th, headed for Carson City, Nevada. She was reported missing by her stepfather, Dave Stotzenbach, on June 8th. An investigation began into the case, but there were no leads.
5 days after Christine and Nick disappeared, Deborah Hoyt and her husband were driving along Highway 50 late at night. They were singing to keep themselves awake when suddenly Deborah saw a goddamn a naked. Hold on. They were singing to keep themselves awake when suddenly Deborah saw a naked woman lying on the side of the road. She was lying on her side. Her knees were slightly bent. She had one arm underneath her head and the other arm on her head.
The couple thought it might have been an obscene joke or a trap to hijack their car. They stopped at the nearest phone booth and called the police. Within minutes, 2 cruisers were at the site where Deborah had seen the body. Without a landmark to pinpoint the exact location, authorities found nothing. Thinking that the sighting may have been linked to Christine and Nick's disappearance, Deputy Rich Stresser decided to investigate further.
Can I just say, one of my fears is that I will be driving at night and see something like this on the side of the road, or just something on the side of the road.
Yes. So this reminds me of, I don't know if there's another show called Paranormal Survivor. I don't know if it was
Uh
Paranormal
huh.
Survivor or Paranormal Witness, but one of the episodes, it was a couple kind of like this driving at. Why are you looking like that?
I'm listening because I'm trying to see if you're going to say what I was going to say. Go ahead.
A couple was driving at night and they saw a little girl on the side of the road and they went to help her. And when they stopped, they saw that she didn't have eyes. So they just took off. But it's, yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I was watching Paranormal Witness and it was not a couple, but a mom and a daughter, and they were driving on like in a
Maybe
rural
that's what it
area.
was.
And you might be right, I don't know. And they saw a young woman on the side of the road, like maybe she had on like white or something, long
Mm-hmm.
dark hair. And I thought her whole face was missing, but I don't remember now that you said that. I'm just like, I'm gonna
I
see a
think it was
girl
her
on the side of the road with
eyes.
no face. Maybe it was her eyes.
Yeah, I think we talking about the same episode.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Terrifying. I don't At the time I don't think it was all that scary, but now every time I'm driving at night, and then I'll be driving at night, especially if I'm coming into town, like if I'm coming from Texas back here, and sometimes you're on some back roads, I'll be listening to like Spooked. And I'm like, why am I listening to this, scaring myself? Just like if I see somebody hitchhiking and they disappear or they end up in the backseat of my car, girl,
Yeah, we're gonna have
terrified.
to do an episode on, because that just reminded me of like all of the mountains. So like the Appalachian Mountains and
Hmm.
stuff like that out here and all the
Hmm.
stuff that goes on. We're gonna have to do an episode. Cause
We
yeah,
should.
I have been obsessed with that since I got here.
That's gonna make me
That
more terrified.
and a Wampus cat. Cause I was like, what is a Wampus
A
cat?
what? Something from Dr. Seuss.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so that's supposed to be like around the Atlanta area, I believe. Either
What
that
is a
or
womp?
the Cat Man. It's one of those.
Why is there a frog man, a cat man, a lizard man, a goat man, a pig man?
Candyman.
Um, a Tony Todd. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Okay. Deputy Strasser figured that it might be easier to spot something in the daylight because the location that Deborah pinpointed was a dangerous stretch of Highway 50 known as Bouillon Bend.
I think so.
I'm thinking
I
of a
was just thinking
bouillon
of bouillon.
cube.
Yeah,
Yeah, or like a bouillon bend.
that's what I
Okay.
was thinking. Yeah. Why are you clutching your
Because I was nervous. Okay. Deputy Strasser figured that it might be easier to spot something in the daylight because the location that Deborah pinpointed was a dangerous stretch of Highway 50 known as Bouillon Bend. We believe. I believe. I'm saying Bouillon.
keep saying we?
Because like
I
we
was just playing.
agreed, we've concluded together. As he drove into the area, he noticed a child's black tennis shoe on the side of the road. The area next to it was a steep embankment. He pulled over to search the area further. At the bottom of the ravine, he found the twisted remains of Christine's car. Also, not related to this. Isn't that the name of a Stephen King movie about a car? Wasn't the
Stephen
car named
King.
Christine?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I say? Stephen
Hmm.
King?
No,
Okay.
it's Christine. Yeah,
Okay.
Stephen King, Christine.
Okay.
He checked her body and discovered that she was deceased. He went to the passenger side to check on Nick, who was lying in the fetal position naked. Deputy Strasser assumed that Nick was also deceased, but when he touched his neck to find a pulse, he took a breath. Nick had been in the car for 5 days. That is a
Man.
long time,
Yes.
especially to a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Police believe that sometime after 2 a.m. on June 6th, Christine fell asleep at the wheel and crashed her car at the bottom of the ravine. Due to the incline, motorists drove past the accident scene for days, unaware of it. They believe Nick, at some point, climbed from the car to the highway and then returned to the car. That would be the only explanation for his shoe being on the side of the road. So, yeah, maybe he was going to try and get help, but then he didn't want to leave his mom like that, depending on, because if it was in the middle of the night, maybe well, I don't know if he got out at night. He might have got out during the day because I don't know that a child that small would get out during the night, but maybe there was just a long period of time before he saw anybody. So he went back because he didn't want to leave his mom. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then he was, yeah, because he was 3. Because I'm like,
Yes.
this, did he like understand what was actually happening? Which I don't know.
Oh, yeah, to what degree did he understand? Because he might
Yeah,
not have
yeah.
understood that she was dead, but I'm sure he understood that they needed help or
Mm-hmm.
at least food and water. You still have needs. So that could have been another reason why he went back to the highway. I don't know. I just can't even
Yeah,
imagine. That's scary.
I know. Somehow, Nick had survived 5 days of blistering heat and 4 nights of cold temperatures. Doctors who examined him said that he would have had only an hour or two left to live had he not been rescued. That is crazy. If Deborah had not seen the naked woman lying on the side of the road, Nick wouldn't have survived. It could not have been Christine because she was fully clothed and wearing her seatbelt. On top of that, Deputy Strasser believes that she was most likely killed on impact. So, yeah, couldn't have been her.
Yeah. Deborah is adamant that she saw a naked woman on the side of the road. She and Christine's family believe that it was her spirit that saved Nick.
The only other explanation is that it was Nick because it was dark and we know that he made it to the road at least once and he was naked when he was found. But again, I would think that she would know the difference between a grown woman and a 3-year-old. So,
Yeah.
yeah, unless she did see him and it was just dark. But no, I mean, you would be able to tell the difference from a child and a woman.
Especially a
So,
toddler. Like a child that
yeah,
young, unless I don't know how fast they were going. So, but that is a thought.
yeah.
I don't think she could have seen him because I don't know that he would have been laying on the side of the road either. Like, because remember, she said she saw the woman laying there on the
Hmm.
side of the road. So I don't
I
think.
mean, he could have.
Mm, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know that. I don't know that he would have done that. Because again, I'm
I
thinking
mean,
if it was dark, I don't even know that he would have gone out at night. Is what I'm thinking because you're 3. Most 3-year-olds are afraid of the dark, let alone going out into like a wooded area to get into the street. Do we believe that a 3-year-old went into the wooded area to go to a main highway? I don't think so.
you would think that. I mean, we just talked about this with, even though she wasn't 3, but we just talked about that with Aisha
No, I know. And the
because,
theory with her. Oh, because what? Sorry.
I was just gonna say because she was scared of the dark, but she did pack up and leave when it was pitch black outside and storming. So you never know what kids would do.
Well, and the theory with her though is that she was not awake. So the theory that I believe was that she was in some sort of a trance, like that she was maybe sleepwalking. Because you can do regular things like you can cook a meal when you sleepwalk, you can put on your clothes when you sleepwalk. Like
Yeah.
I believe what that Reddit user said when they were saying they think she was in some sort of sleepwalking trance and thought like while she was sleepwalking, her subconscious was taking her to school, so she did not realize that she was out at night in the middle of a storm. So not unless it was something like that, not unless he just didn't realize that he was out at night. That's just my story. I'm sticking to it. I don't know. I don't know that 3-year old be on the side of the road.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's a stressful situation. You don't know what a child would do.
Yeah.
Just like a theory, it could have been him, but I don't think it
Yeah.
was. But
Yes, I'm agreeing that I don't think it was either.
yeah,
On an episode of Paranormal Witness, a now adult Nick was interviewed. He recalled seeing a bright light surrounding the car after the accident.
this was featured on Unsolved Mysteries. That was my note, but we said it at the beginning.
He remembered seeing the figure of a woman standing near the road. He thinks that it was his mother watching over him.
It was also mentioned that Christine's aunt had several dreams about the accident before they were ever reported missing. She saw them lying in the car in a ditch. She also saw the number 16, which turned out to be the number for a mile marker near the accident scene. Interesting. So,
Yes.
do we believe that Deborah really saw the ghost of Christine Skubish?
Or just a random naked lady on the laying on the side of the road. For whatever reason. I'd believe that over believing. Nah.
I believe that it is possible because there really is no other explanation. So, like you said, unless it was an actual naked lady.
But then what are the odds, you know? Like what are the odds that a random naked lady would be at that mile marker laying on the side of the road? Like, I don't believe in coincidences.
I do, but I don't. But
Oh, go ahead. But what?
no, I was just going to say, because I did watch the segment on Unsolved Mysteries when I was doing this. Um, I believe it. I believe it. They were convincing to me.
Okay, come on, convincing. So I just want to go back to coincidence. I was watching something, or maybe I was reading something. They were talking about the concept of like what people believe coincidences are. Like they kind of just brush them off, like, oh, that was a coincidence. But a coincidence is a remarkable occurrence of events or circumstances without apparent casual connection. So they met by coincidence is still like if somebody is like, oh, they met by like coincidence, or in this case, if there was a random naked lady on the side of the road, like, oh, it's just coincidence, it's still a remarkable occurrence. Like it still is something that's like fated
Yeah.
essentially. So
Yeah.
hmm,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. It's a cool. It's never mind. Let me not say it's a cool story because that's not what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah.
what happened to Christine is tragic, yes, but I do think that it is miraculous that everything that happened after that, like Nick surviving, Deborah seeing the lady, even her aunt, and I definitely believe that the aunt could have had several dreams about the accident because a lot of stuff that happens to me happens through dreams. Like I remember something so small. I remember dreaming my brother, he had a car. It was like my dad's old car that he had been driving around. And I remember having a dream that it broke down. Like either it broke down or that he was in an accident, but the car like stopped working in my dream. And then literally either the next day or 2 days later, the car broke down on him. And I was like, that's so weird. So when stuff like that happens, I do believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
And again, Deborah seemed really sincere. She seemed like she was telling the truth. Like, I don't know. Because you can't make stuff like, I mean, you can make this stuff up, but again, like we said, what are the odds if she was lying about seeing a naked lady on the side of the road? What are the odds of it being in the exact spot where Christene was?
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I believe it.
Yeah. Because you could question it if it was a situation where, I don't know, where they found her first. You know what I'm saying? Like where they found them first, and then Deborah was like, "Oh, I saw," like after the fact. But no, she's the reason
Yeah,
why they found them. So yeah.
we did a similar story, but that lady was actually like, I think she was a medium or something, and Melanie
Uribe
was
or
her
something like that.
name. Yes.
Uribe.
Yeah. That story is similar to this one because another lady led them to her body. It was not too long ago, actually, when we did that one.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out. Yeah, because she was abducted and murdered on her way to work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a strange premonition. A strange
Oh,
premonition. Melanie Uribe. It was November
okay.
25th, 2023. So, yeah.
2023.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I thought we did that one last year.
I don't know, but it was 2023. It was at the end of 2023, so maybe.
Oh, maybe that's
Because,
what.
last year
Yeah.
was the messed up year. This year is the comeback year. Last year was a crazy year. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it happens often too. Because what's the other one with the dream? We referenced it recently too. Is it Teresita?
Teresita Basa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was just listening to Spooked because I love Spooked. And something like that happened. Like there was a story of a motorcycle accident, and the wife saw the lady on the motorcycle like after she had already like you could tell, they were saying you could tell that she was dead, but you couldn't really see, she just wasn't moving. And the wife said that she like walked up on the husband, and what did she say? She said like was asking her husband for help, but the husband of course couldn't see or hear. The husband didn't even believe in anything like that, but come to find out the husband worked for a funeral home, and he was the one who dug graves and dropped the caskets into their graves. And he ended up getting her in the funeral home. And so he thought, he brought up the word coincidences. He was like, it was a weird coincidence. Because I don't know if it made me believe like what my wife is saying, because the wife was saying she's sensitive to stuff like that. But then the wife took it to mean that she knew that that's where she was going to go, and that he was going to be watching over her. And apparently like people were coming in defacing the grave, and he would like clean it up for her. And I was like, that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But good one. Good one. That's all for the Highway 50 Phantom Christine Skubish.
Please follow us on Instagram at It's a Strange World Podcast and TikTok at It's a Strange World After All. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and like the show, please go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. If you're feeling extra strange, please write a review. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment and share.
Share
Thank
it with
you.
your friends. Share it with your enemies. Share it with whoever. Just share it. Come and Come and get strange with us. We would love to hear from you. What did you think of this week's episode? Do you believe that it was Christine that Deborah saw on the side of the road, that it was her spirit? Please send us your feedback, episode suggestions, movie or documentary review suggestions, or just any inquiries about even being a guest on the show. You can email those submissions to it's a strange world after all at gmail.com, or DM us on any other social media platforms previously mentioned.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of It's a Strange World After All. Thank you.
And thank you as always for keeping it strange with us. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.